Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into GCSE music.
Oh, GCSE music. I love this one.
You know, a lot of our listeners are clearly thinking about music, thinking about GCSEs,
Right.
and we're going to break down everything. The curriculum, how you're assessed, even some of those paths it can unlock, maybe some surprises in there.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is it's a subject that's so much more than just learning an instrument or two.
Right.
Which is what people I think sometimes assume.
Okay.
It's really about think of it like learning a whole new language.
Yeah.
But instead of words, you're mastering this art of musical expression.
I love that.
It's a really
You've got these really fascinating documents,
Yeah.
a general overview. You've got the specs. What's in it for me?
Yeah.
What am I going to be actually learning?
So imagine, if you will, a three-legged stool.
Okay.
Right? That's your GCSE music curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
One leg is all about performance. So it is about taking your skills on an instrument, whatever they are, whether you're a total beginner or whether you've been playing for years, you're going to be pushing those skills further.
Right.
You might even get the chance to play in an ensemble.
Yeah.
Which adds a whole other, brilliant layer to it.
Yeah, so it's not just music theory, it's actually applying it.
Exactly. So it's got that for the people who like to be hands-on.
Right, so that's one leg of the school. We've got performance.
Yes.
What about the other two?
Okay, leg number 2, we're talking composition.
Okay.
This is where you get to be creative.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
This is where you flex those creative muscles. We're not just talking about doodling notes on a page.
Right.
This is about exploring those musical ideas, the techniques, actually learning how to write your own scores.
Wow.
Imagine bringing your own musical vision to life.
So you're not just playing other people's music, you're creating your own.
You're creating it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And that's a really exciting part of the course, I think.
So we've got performance, we've got composition.
Yeah.
What's that third leg? What rounds this GCSE out?
Okay, so this is the one that I think often takes people by surprise.
Okay.
And it's called appraising.
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 Yep.
And it's all about becoming like a musical detective,
Ooh.
right? So you're going to be analyzing musical elements. You're going to be understanding their context, even learning how to compare different genres like a pro,
Wow, so not just playing,
Yeah.
not just creating, but critically analyzing.
Yes.
That's pretty impressive. What would you say to someone who's like, okay, appraising, what does that actually look like? What am I doing?
Okay, so let's say you're listening to a piece of music for the first time. And as you're listening to it, you're not just enjoying the melody,
Right.
You might be thinking, okay, what instruments can I hear?
Right.
How does that rhythm make me feel?
What is the composer trying to do?
Exactly. What are they trying to say?
Yeah.
So you're sort of starting to break down that music piece by piece.
Right.
Like a detective would examine all the clues.
So like reading between the musical lines.
Yes, exactly that.
That's cool.
And the more you do it, the more you start to notice those hidden connections
Right.
and really appreciate the artistry of the music.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's what it looks like to learn it. But what about being assessed? How do they test this?
Okay, so that's a really good question.
Because there's the performance element,
There is.
right? And we've got the composition element.
Yes.
So how are those marked?
So both of those are marked by your teachers, but then there's external moderation as well.
Right.
Just
Okay.
to make sure everything is standardized.
Okay.
And then there's the big one, the written exam.
The exam. I bet some listeners felt a shiver just then.
Yes.
What's the exam like?
So it's 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Okay.
And it covers, everything from those musical elements and contexts. You even have to do a melody dictation, which is where you listen to a melody and have to write it down.
Wow, that's intense.
Yeah. It's a challenging exam,
It sounds like it.
but also really interesting.
It sounds like it's so much more than just being able to play an instrument.
Yes.
It's about understanding music.
It's about understanding it on a really deep level. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And appreciating it in all its forms.
Yeah, it sounds like a journey.
It is.
Now, you mentioned that there are set works, specific pieces that students need to know.
Yes.
Can you give us some examples of those and how they tie into this whole detective work we're talking about?
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, it's like they give you a magnifying glass and a stack of scores and say,
Right.
go on, get in there, uncover the secrets.
I love it.
And these set works, these are kind of your guideposts, right? Representing all these different eras, different styles.
Okay, so give us a taste.
Okay.
What kind of pieces are we talking about?
So in the instrumental music category, for example,
Okay.
you've got your big hitters like Bach,
Right.
the third movement from Brandenburg Concerto number 5 in D major. Just pure energy. Wow.
And then you're switching gears completely Beethoven's first movement from Piano Sonata number 8 in C minor,
Okay.
Pathetique, talk about emotional range.
So Baroque brilliance, and
Yes,
then bam, Beethoven.
exactly.
That's quite a range.
Yeah, really getting stuck into those pieces can really open your ears.
Totally. What about other categories?
Okay, so vocal music, we're talking Purcell.
Okay.
Music for a while, just beautiful.
Beautiful.
And then, get this, Queen, Killer Queen.
No way.
Talk about a study in contrasts.
From opera to like stadium rock anthems.
Exactly. Yeah, this
Oh.
GCSE does not shy away from variety.
Wow, that's pretty cool. It's really running the gamut.
It is.
It's like saying, music's this huge, amazing world, go explore it.
That's exactly what it is, yeah. And we haven't even touched on music for stage and screen yet.
Oh, right, okay.
Imagine analyzing Defying Gravity from Wicked.
Okay, yeah.
Talk about a modern classic, right? Or
Yeah.
the main title theme from Star Wars.
Oh, those epic orchestral maneuvers.
See, now that one, even I'm tempted. And I'm not even doing the GCSE.
Right, it's so iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've picked those set works to really expose students to loads of different styles, historical periods.
Yeah, you got to have a good variety, right? Now, what about fusions? What is that category?
Okay, so fusions, we're talking about global sounds.
Okay.
We've got Afro-Celt Sound System release and the amazing Esperanza Spalding
Oh, wow.
Samba and Preludio.
It's really cool to see how diverse these artists are, the genres are.
It is.
I mean, that just gives you such a broader understanding of music as this language.
Yes, and I think that's what's really exciting about this whole appraising side of things. You're not just learning about music in a vacuum, are you?
Right.
You're connecting it to history, to culture, to social movements even.
It's all connected.
Yes, it really opens your eyes to the power of music, I think, as this universal language.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know, like in the materials, it talks about how studying music, this might not be obvious to everyone listening, but can actually benefit you in areas beyond music,
It's true.
which I thought was really fascinating. So, for example, how would you say that those skills translate to something like a career in law?
It's really fascinating, isn't it?
It's not the first connection you would make, music to law.
No, exactly. But think about it. When you're analyzing a complex score, like we've been talking about, right?
Right.
You're training your brain to do all these things, breaking down this information, spotting those patterns, drawing conclusions.
Mm.
And those are all really essential skills for lawyers, right?
Yeah.
Sifting through evidence, building arguments, presenting their case persuasively.
So it's not just about the notes on the page. It's actually a way of thinking.
Yes.
It's like a mental agility that you can apply.
Exactly. Yeah. And you can apply that to anything, any challenge you face.
Now, what about someone who's maybe more into medicine? Is there a connection there?
Oh, absolutely. Just think about the precision that's required when you're playing an instrument, the discipline of practice.
Right.
That
Yeah.
ability to really focus for long periods, I mean, those are all qualities that I'm sure a surgeon would say are pretty important.
Yeah, the attention to detail,
Yes.
hand-eye coordination, it's all there.
Absolutely.
Wow. So it's so much more than music.
It is.
It really is. It's about this way of thinking, problem solving that can help you no matter what you do,
I completely agree.
even if you don't go into music.
And I think, to connect that to the bigger picture, it teaches you to see those patterns, to analyze that structure, to understand how all those individual parts contribute to this greater whole.
Wow.
And again, those are all transferable skills that you can take into any career, really, whether that's law, medicine, even history.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
So we've talked about how it helps your brain, your career, but let's not forget the simple joy of music, right?
Oh, absolutely.
There's nothing quite like creating something beautiful, whether that's playing an instrument or even just listening.
It's true, yeah.
There's that emotional connection. There's no language barrier.
It really does transcend all those cultural barriers.
It's this universal language of the soul.
I love that.
Right. So for our listener who is thinking about GCSE music, what would you say are those key qualities that make someone successful?
Okay, that's a great question. I'd say, first and foremost, you've got to have a passion for music.
Yeah, you can't fake it.
You can't fake it. This isn't a subject you can just cram for.
No.
It needs that dedication, curiosity, a willingness to get stuck in and explore.
So embrace the journey, not just chasing the grade.
Yes, and be open to those new ideas. Be willing to experiment. Don't be afraid to make mistakes because even the best musicians, they all started somewhere,
All
right?
right, we all start somewhere. What else?
I'd say good time management is pretty crucial,
Yeah.
especially when you're balancing all that practice with your coursework as well.
Yeah, we've talked about how much is in it. You got to stay organized.
Yeah. Exactly, you do. Yeah, and just that ability to kind of get yourself organized, manage your time effectively.
Absolutely. Anything else?
I'd say a collaborative spirit is important,
Yeah.
especially for all that ensemble work.
Right.
Because being able to listen to other people, share those ideas, work together towards that common goal, that's invaluable, really, isn't it?
Collaboration, it's key in music, just like in life.
Exactly.
Now, for our listener who maybe is on the fence, what would you say to them? What's your final pitch for GCSE music?
I'd say this. GCSE music, it's more than just a qualification, right? It's about investing in yourself, investing in your creativity, investing in your future. It's about pushing those boundaries, discovering those passions, developing skills that honestly will serve you in all aspects of life.
It's about so much more than just learning to play an instrument
Yes.
or reading music. It's really about opening your mind up.
Completely agree. Yeah.
It really does open up your thinking, doesn't it?
It does. And, one of the things I find so exciting about this GCSE is that connection to the wider world.
Right.
It's not just this isolated subject.
Yeah.
It's like this lens that you can use to understand history, culture, even science and math.
I've always thought about music as being very mathematical
It is.
with the rhythms and the patterns and things.
Absolutely. And when you start to look at the history of music,
Yeah.
you see how it's completely intertwined with social movements, with these technological advancements, philosophical ideas.
It's like a microcosm of human experience, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's what makes it so rich and rewarding to study, I think.
Now, for that listener who's thinking, this is awesome, what can I actually do with this GCSE?
Yeah.
Where can I take this?
It's a good question, and I think we've already touched upon those transferable skills, haven't we?
Yeah.
The analytical thinking, the discipline, the collaboration.
It's not just about being a musician.
No, it's the skills. Honestly, they're gold in any field.
So even if I don't become a performer, those skills are still valuable.
Absolutely. Employers are crying out for those kind of skills, but of course, for those who are thinking, yeah, I want music to be my life, this GCSE lays the groundwork.
Yeah.
Right? You could go on to further study, you could do A-levels, a music degree, even conservatory if you want to.
Okay, so you're talking like performers, composers, conductors.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what about those behind the scenes roles? They're crucial as well.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Your sound engineers, your producers, your music therapists, they're all playing this vital part
Right? Yeah.
in bringing music to life.
It's a whole other side of the industry.
And having that foundation from your GCSE can be so, so valuable.
Yeah, you get this taste of it all.
You do.
You figure out what you like.
Exactly.
It's been amazing to dive into this with you.
It has been fun, hasn't it?
We've really gone from how it's structured to what it can do for you as a person.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been great.
Any final words of wisdom for our listeners before we wrap up this deep dive into GCSE music?
If you have a passion for music, don't ignore it. GCSE music, it's more than just that qualification.
Yeah.
It's a journey, it's a chance to really explore your creativity, and it opens up so many doors.
I love it. It's about finding yourself through music.
It is.
And on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive into the world of GCSE music. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope this helped.
Thanks for having me.
And until next time.
See you later.